What's good, y'all? What's good? Oh, Lordy. I'm so glad winter is almost here because my allergies have been kicking my ass. You guys have no idea. Didn't they say technically we're already in fall? I remember somebody over the weekend asking me how was I enjoying the official start of fall. So I don't know if fall has officially started yet, but if it has, I ain't feeling it yet. It ain't coming my way because my sinuses are still feeling it, man. All right, so AEW Dynamite just went off the air. We're going to give people a couple of minutes because I know we're going to have a few folks that's going to be trickling on in. So we're going to wait a couple of minutes. I'll say 2 minutes at most. Give people an opportunity to stretch out and all that good stuff. What y'all thought about AEW Dynamite tonight? This was night 1 of Grandslam. Night 2 is going to be this Friday. I'm looking forward to that. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm looking forward to that. This is going to be the first time that, bear with me a second here. Let me just tag this real quick. This is going to be the first time that Rampage is going to be giving us a 2-hour show. So I'm looking forward to that. Still going to be coming on at the same time. Just going to be going on until midnight. So that should be fun. That's going to be my first time since I have been hired by 411 Mania in covering a 2-hour show, because all I've been doing at this point is 1-hour coverages / reviews. So now I'm going to have to do an additional second hour. So I'm probably going to be pretty tired in the morning. I got to be honest, because I got to do a quick turnaround to work the very next day. And I got to go in pretty freaking early. So, I mean, it's not too early, but the fact that I got to get up pretty early just to begin my commute, that's where it gets a little, so not really looking forward to that. But you know what? I might be tired. Well worth it. It's going to be well worth it. I know night 2 is really going to be bringing it. So I'm looking forward to it, actually. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it's going to be a busy week because we also got a pay-per-view too this weekend, right? Yeah, we got Extreme Rules that's going to be going down this weekend. So, all right, we're going to start. Let's see, we got the 6-minute mark right now. I say let's go ahead and let's start in about 60 seconds. I think we've given people more than enough time to stretch out, grab a quick drink, all that good stuff. So we'll start in about 60 seconds officially. And we're also going to talk about NXT as well. Just key points of NXT we'll talk about. By the way, I got a poll that I just put up for you AEW fans. I literally put a poll up right before going live. I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in physical card versions of Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole. I know pretty soon, somewhere down the road, they're going to be doing one for Owen Hart now that they've got that new partnership deal with the Owen Hart Foundation. So head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show, and click on the communities tab. You'll see the poll. I want to know from you guys if you all would like a physical version of those cards as a giveaway. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, I polled you guys about the CM Punk giveaway, and there were a lot of you all that were like, wait a minute, what the hell is an E-card? So just to simplify things, I'm going to get the physical cards of all the stuff that I've been talking about the past couple of weeks. And once I get a hold of the physical cards, all of them, that's when we're going to go on ahead and do a giveaway. So what you guys would actually be getting is the physical cards, because I know a lot of you guys, you're not really familiar with the whole e-card stuff, trading and all that. So I thought I'd try to simplify things a bit better for you guys. So for those of you that are interested, make sure you sound off over there on the communities poll. So, all right, let's officially start the show. All right. audio. Oh, you know what? Let's set the recorder here. Let's set the recorder here. Make sure we got that nice and popping here. All right, and we got it recording. All right, we're ready. Let's go. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hey guys, what is going on? Wednesday night edition of the RCWR show, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Oh, Wednesday night of September 22nd, 2021. Happy Wednesday to you guys. Happy hump day. Wow, how about that AEW Dynamite for tonight? What a, from top to bottom, what a fantastic show overall. And just the fact that we opened up with Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. Oh, doesn't get any better than that. I mean, look, I got to be honest, and that's the thing that I love about AEW is that just when you think you know the predictability of what's probably going to open up a show, what's probably going to close out the show, AEW has a way of surprising you and at times really just going for the jugular, really just going for hook, line, and sinker, that nice good bait that they use early on. You know, it's kind of like if you're a fisher, you're like, I don't really want to just off the break use the really good bait. I want to just work my way. I want to see what I can get with this bait before I go to the heavy artillery. AEW many times they just throw that whole script out of the freaking ballpark. They just toss it and they just, we're just going to do as we damn well please. Now, look, I will say this. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have been seeing it online as well. I find it a little bit funny that we've got individuals that, remember this now, remember this. We had a lot of people that were so ecstatic at the idea of New Day taking on the Bloodline. Remember that? Kind of talked about it off and on past couple of weeks. A lot of people excited about it. I definitely was excited about it. I know some of you guys that had either called into the show or sounded off in the chat, you love the idea of, yeah, man, you know what? New Day, Bloodline, yeah, it's going to happen. We're going to be seeing that probably a lot sooner rather than later. Most of you all were kind of thinking maybe by Survivor Series we were going to get that. But then when we find out, no, we're actually going to get it on free television, you know, most of us were actually happy with that. We were like, okay, this is cool. Not to mention, hey, it's probably going to be just, you know, a proper introduction. There's probably going to be some type of a fuck finish, and we'll eventually see these teams lock up again. We'll see these factions lock up again. But then when we go and find out it's going to be airing, you know, on Monday Night Raw again, most of us, we were cool with it because we had the notion, fuck finish. But most people really had soured on this. WWE was bashed. The question was put out there, why are they giving this away on free TV? I'm sure you guys probably saw a lot of that chatter that was floating around on social media. But it was what it was, and that was a phenomenal matchup. A great opener of a matchup, too. Some people may raise the question, man, did Roman Reigns really need to, for the team, did the Bloodline really need to? Why wasn't there a fuck finish? Especially when you saw how that match was laid out in general, right? But we had a lot of people that were complaining about the fact that that match was being given on free television. Yet, we flipped the script. Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, free match on AEW TV, and all of a sudden it's phenomenal. Oh, awesome. Oh, this is cool. Oh, right. Like, and it's just the hypocrisy of it. You just can't help but kick back and just say, these aren't the type of wrestling fans we honestly need to be associated with, because they are very toxic to our community. You know, right? I mean, look, I know a decent amount of you guys, you just care about being entertained. You just care about getting the best possible shows from some of your favorite wrestling promotions. And that's great if you got that mindset. Just keep operating the way that you're operating. But I'm sure you guys have seen a little bit of the hypocrisy that's been running around there, right down to the point. Remember what we brought up on Monday night in regards to AEW and the Owen Hart Foundation doing that awesome partnership? And remember when we got to that one point in the show where I had showed you guys some of the comments that were coming in from so-called wrestling fans that were just taking a massive shit on that partnership, hoping that WWE sues AEW and all that other shit. Remember that? Remember that? Oh, just hilarious. Just hilarious when you stop and think about that. So yeah, in case you missed it, we did some pre-show yakety yak. And for you AEW fans, you're going to like this. Or wrestling fans in general, especially you collectors out there. So they announced tonight that there is but we kind of knew about this a couple of days ago. I actually follow Upper Deck Cards on social media, and so I usually kind of get the heads up and all that. And I'm actually signed up for news alerts, things of that nature. So during the pre-show yakety yak, I had let the fans know that I'm in the progress right now of getting a hold of the physical version, the physical card versions of Bryan Danielson, basically commemorating his now run in AEW and all of that. We also got a Adam Cole card in the works. You already know about the CM Punk card because we talked about that some weeks ago. I have a feeling that pretty soon AEW is going to announce a Owen Hart trading card through Upper Deck, and I would imagine that is going to just blow the roof off. I would imagine that's going to command a pretty hefty amount online, okay? But as I was telling folks during the pre-show, I know when we did the poll some weeks back about CM Punk, a lot of people were just lost because they weren't sure what an e-card was. All they basically know is trading cards, physical cards, and all that. So to make things easier, I decided, okay, let's just talk physical cards. So you guys don't have to do anything if you don't know anything about e-cards. I basically would be able to, I'm buying the e-card versions of the names that I mentioned. Owen Hart, obviously, when it becomes available. And once I get the notification at my end in their dashboard that physical versions of these cards are available, I'm going to order them. And basically, it's like a conversion, and you pay a little small fee for getting the physical cards. We're going to make those be available to you guys in a giveaway. That's if you all are interested. So if you haven't already, go take a look at the communities tab at youtube.com/the RCWR show. And there's a poll up there asking you guys if, once the physical cards are available, if you actually would like to participate in a giveaway for it. So I'm thinking probably we'll do like one a week. Maybe 1 week we'll do CM Punk. Then the next week we'll do a Bryan Danielson. Next week we'll do Adam Cole. Rinse, repeat. We'll pretty much do it like that for you guys. So keep that in mind. Also, if you got Twitter, head on over there right now at the RCWR show. I am asking you guys, what did you think about tonight's AEW Dynamite? Because I want to know legit what you guys had thought. And of course, you can sound off and comment as well, because I definitely want to know what you guys had thought. Overall, though, top to bottom, great card for AEW Dynamite tonight. And to think, this is only night one of Grandslam. This is only night one. We got loads more to go. We've got loads more to go because we got this Friday, and that's going to be 2 hours. So I cannot wait to see what's going to be in store for us for Rampage. But, I really like the fact that now AEW is finally getting to that point where they're starting to carve out the identity for Rampage. Because remember, as great as we thought it was early on with Rampage, I think one of the most important questions to bring up is what exactly is going to be the identity of Rampage going forward. Is Rampage just going to be one of those type of shows that's going to be a accelerated 2.0 version of Dark, Dark Elevation, or is it going to be a companion piece to AEW Dynamite? And I think the best way to look at how Rampage has been done within recent weeks is the fact that now I got to use a music analogy, and it's not a long-winded music analogy, but I look at what they're doing with Rampage now as, you know what we did with Dynamite, that was a great LP. Top to bottom, just all the tracks that we put on that was phenomenal. But we got these bonus tracks that unfortunately did not make it to that LP. Some of these really, really great songs, but man, they just didn't make it to the LP. You know what? Why don't we take these bonus songs, and these are new songs, right? They're not remixes, none like that. These are just songs that didn't make it to the LP. Let's take some of these songs and let's make a EP out of it, right? That's how I'm looking at what's going on right now with AEW Rampage. I think at this point it is basically a EP compilation of bonus stuff that didn't make the cut to Dynamite, and it's essentially a continuation of Dynamite. And I don't know how you guys personally feel about that, but me personally, I got no problem with it whatsoever. I'm totally down with that. So, and I hope the trend continues, is the point that I'm making, honestly. I'm hoping that the trend continues, because I like where they're going with this. I really, really do. And I like the big fight feel that Rampage is continuing to have as well. There is that incentive for that viewer why you should be checking out Rampage on Fridays. Although I must admit, because I got to be consistent here, I got to be consistent here. If you guys are following my coverage and reviews of Rampage on the 411 Mania website, y'all know I wasn't really that kind. I mean, look, keeping it honest, keeping it insightful, keeping it interactive. That's been my show creed model since 2011. What did I give Rampage last week on the site? I think I gave it a 6.5, right? So that was one of their weakest Rampage episodes. But in defense, you could say, nah, you know what? It really feels like they were just stringing everything along to really help bridge the gap there going into Grandslam week at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. And, you could make an argument that maybe this week going on, we won't see a Rampage quite as semi-lackluster as what we got. Well, I honestly believe that what they got in store for us on Friday is going to be 2 times better than what we got last Friday. But we'll wait and see how that pans out and everything. By the way, shout out to my New Yorkers out there at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. I know we got reach in New York. I check out the analytics of the show. I see where folks are checking out the show, citywide, statewide, and all that. And we got a nice little niche in the New York area. I love New York. Every time me and the wifey get an opportunity to do a little bit of traveling, we always try to do our best to pass through New York City. And man, I'm telling you, I love the people out there. Every time I go out there, it's always a good time. Love the overall energy out there. It's fantastic. Usually we like to try to go out there during the major holidays. We usually try to go out there right before Christmas. Usually we like to try to go out there the week of my birthday, because that's kind of like been a trademark. We usually like to try to go out there, hang out in Times Square and all that. And, it's awesome. But you know what? The fans all throughout tonight's Rampage really brought that fire. They really, really brought the energy. This had a pay-per-view feel to it. I mean, honestly, that's how this Dynamite had felt tonight. And I loved it. I tremendously loved it so much. So to those of you in the New York area, especially those of you that actually were at the Arthur Ashe Stadium, by the way, safe travels to you guys that are at the stadium. maybe leaving the stadium right now, gonna be leaving the stadium in a bit. Safe travels to you guys. I couldn't help but see what was going on with public transportation out there, and I could be mistaken, so shout out to those of you that live in the New York area, but it looks like as far as taking the trains out there from Long Island going back, heading in the other direction, it looks like, I could be wrong, so you guys can correct me, but just the little bit that I had researched on you all's version of WMATA, Washington Metro, WMATA, Washingtonian Metropolitan Transit Authority. That's our WMATA. New York, obviously, they're not called WMATA. They're called something else. But when I was looking at the schedule out there, it kind of looks like the cutoff time is somewhere during the 11 o'clock hour, like maybe about 11:58 or something like that, leaving from Long Island to try to head back. So safe travels for those of you out there. I would imagine, though, there really should not be any stupidness that's going on as far as folks being stranded, things of that nature. Because remember, when it came to All Out several weeks ago, there was a decent amount of people that were reporting they were stranded afterwards because the event, it ended so late. Remember that? I remember there were even reporters, podcasters that had sadly they weren't able to get back. They weren't able to get home in time. People were having a difficult time catching an Uber, trying to catch a Lyft. I mean, it was craziness what was going on there. So, that's kind of sad to hear. So hopefully, I think, honestly, as far as what's going on tonight, I think they'll be all right tonight. I think they'll be all right heading back home. But Daniel Bryan, I keep calling him Daniel Bryan. You guys got to forgive me. It's going to take me a while to get back to calling him Bryan Danielson. That Danielson Omega match, phenomenal from top to bottom. I love the fact that it had not only this big fight feel to it, but I also love the fact that these guys didn't even touch each other. And they're just standing there for 5 minutes at least. And the crowd is just eating this up. I honestly believe the fans knew that what they were watching right here was something that was so special, that what they were watching right here was something that was truly magical, and they were just taking it all in, and they were just letting their voices be heard. Look, I'd be lying to you guys if I said, nah, Bryan Danielson, Omega, not a dream match. I'd be lying if I said that to you guys, okay? No, that was just, and I love the fact that Khan and crew, they let this match breathe. I mean, this match, minus the introductions, this match got at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And the one time that they did interrupt to do their little commercial breaks and all that, they went on ahead, very smart on their part. They made sure they did the whole picture-in-picture. So I got to give mad props to AEW for that. And that match, that was a instant classic. Now look, if you haven't made your rounds in forums and on social media yet, you're going to be seeing a decent amount of people that's going to be saying match of the year. They're going to throw that out there. And too many times you may say, okay, do we really need to go that route? Aren't we being a little bit extreme here? Like, come on, man. Come on. Really? Look, to those people that are saying this was a match of the year caliber type of a match, look, I'm not saying it is going to win match of the year, but if you were to make a list of all the wrestling matches that's come about from your favorite wrestling promotions this calendar year, you're including the pay-per-views and all the TV shows, I don't see how you can ignore this matchup because it was that damn good. It was that damn good. So I agree. I agree with the fans. If you're asking me straight up, Lee, as far as your 2021 matches of the year candidates, is that bad boy going on your list? I'm putting it on my list. If you got your list, if you're not putting that match on your list, I don't know what the problem is. And the beautiful part that I liked about this matchup, I like the fact that AEW said, we're going to go old school with this matchup. Yeah, we're going to go old school. And what I mean by old school, and shout out to LH. LH was tuning in very briefly, watching in the UK, almost 4 a.m. in his respected neck of the woods. So I would imagine you probably stayed up just long enough to check out Dynamite tonight, if Dynamite even airs around that time out there, or if it's like during the primetime hours. But I know it's kind of crazy out there in the UK, because UK, when it comes to them watching some of these wrestling shows live, like some of us in the US, they tend to have to stay up pretty late and all that. So shout out to LH for just dropping by real quick, showing some love in the chat and all that. Yeah, always remember, you can, and to anybody, whether you got work, you got school, you're overseas, it's extremely late at your neck of the woods, I'm always appreciative of those that take time out of their schedule just to drop some love and all that. But always remember, besides catching the show on demand, you can catch the audio version of the show on demand and on the downloads. Usually I put it out the very next day. So, usually early in the evening is when I put the audio out. But the webcast version, that's available on demand pretty much instantly as soon as I go off the air. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you can pretty much watch the stream there. But the audio version is usually released hours later in the evening, next day typically. So shout out to you though, LH. Appreciate the love as always. Thank you for that. So, but I like the fact that this match went old school, where it went to a time limit draw. I thought that was so freaking smart on AEW's part, because that's the one thing that I was quietly saying to myself as I was watching this match. I said, okay, surely we're not going to see this match end where we're going to get a winner by hook or by crook. Surely we're going to get some type of a fuck finish here that will essentially have AEW and crew, they'll be able to build upon it and do a bigger setup going towards their next pay-per-view, where we will see these two guys go at it. And I love the way this match was made out. They laid out the perfect blueprint for this matchup. And Omega and Danielson, they flowed together so well. I mean, there is instant chemistry. There is that, that old saying, love at first sight. It's either there or it's not. This was just one of those instant, yeah, they got something. They've got something special that's there. Let's be honest. We've seen some matches in AEW since its inception where we've gone, yeah, you know what? As much as I like that person or I like this person, they didn't really mesh well together. They really need to stay away from each other. Or you can make an argument, I think they kind of need to do a lot more together and try to see if they can build up something here. But in the case of Omega and Danielson, their chemistry, just everything was just fluid in motion. I got to tell you, there was two spots particular where I was very concerned for Danielson. The one spot, of course, anybody that watched it tonight, you know exactly the two spots I'm talking about. Yeah, the one spot, let's talk about the latter first, where Kenny Omega did the avalanche dragon suplex on Daniel Bryan. And you're going, oh, please, 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 no. And then when the move was executed, you're going, okay, just don't land on the back of the head, don't land on the neck. And instead, we see that pretty much the way Daniel Bryan, flipped himself midair, he pretty much landed on his stomach. So you're going, okay, dodged the bullet there. But then the spot before that, right, several minutes before that spot, you had this one spot where Kenny Omega did a snapmare suplex on Danielson. And you're going, ooh, And I love the fact that they factor that in, the neck problems that's been well documented for Danielson. I love the fact that they factor that in there and everything. And I gotta give AEW a lot of props. I gotta give Danielson a lot of props too. I wasn't even gonna mention this until later on in the show, but this is just how the show works sometimes. We're just going with a nice, good flow, and whatever comes to mind, we just pretty much go right there. But I'm sure you guys had saw the recent interview, or at least the transcripts of it, that Danielson had gave about talking with Vince McMahon and WWE, and how, one of the main reasons why he left WWE was because he felt that he was being too protected by Vince McMahon and crew. And, you hear something like that and you go, wait, what? That's just what? Now, again, that's not the sole reason. It was just one of the reasons, okay? Just one of the reasons. And you're going, wow, here's this guy and Vince McMahon, and Bryan just put McMahon over big time. Even in his thank you WWE open letter that he put out this week. If you did not read that yet, I highly would encourage you to jump out there when you get a chance and read it. It's probably at most a quick 2-3 minute read, but you talk about just a class act. And I can't stress this enough, because I know some people are going to say something along the lines of, oh, Bryan is just milking it. He's just trying to make sure that he stays face, because you never know. The world is small. He may want to eventually find his way back into WWE again somewhere down the road. So he's not trying to completely burn a bridge. Let me show you guys something real quick. Yes, there it is. If you did not pick up this book already, I would highly encourage you to pick up this book, The Yes Book by Bryan Danielson. I have read this book at least since it was originally released. I have probably read this book at least 4 times. And let me tell you something. The personality that you see on your TV every single week, what you hear in the interviews, even that pinned open letter that he wrote to WWE this week, folks, it's not a gimmick. It's not somebody that's trying to stay face and try to be seriously diplomatic. And no. And you really, really get this man's personality. You really get this guy down when you read his book. By the time you're done reading his book, you have even more great admiration, respect for the guy. You just really come away. If you always said to yourself, Bryan seems like the type of person, if I had to just share a drink or, grab a bite to eat with somebody and talk all things wrestling and don't have to worry about, being judged or, kind of being treated a little bit shitty or whatever. If there was one guy you had to say, I think this guy was actually be pretty good to mingle with, he's that guy. And when you read this book, you really, really come away, respecting the hell out of that guy. So to those that's kind of going with that open pen letter he did to WWE, just saying, that's just no. These are people that obviously most likely did not even read his book. So I would kind of raise an eyebrow and just kind of look at them a little cross-eyed there and all that. But, to hear that the old man is basically, he's just trying to look out for you. He's just trying to make sure that your safety and well-being is intact. He's just trying to make sure that you remain perfectly whole so that you can go enjoy your wife. You can enjoy your kids, live your life, not be battered down and crippled in a wheelchair and all that other shit. But those 2 spots tonight in that match, it definitely had concerned me. But just seeing the way everything had played out, seeing he was okay and he continued on, I just couldn't help but say, all right, cool. But despite those 2 little spots, and look, I think we got to be prepared for this going forward. We're most likely always going to see some spots there. Now that we know what's going on with him physically, we're most likely always going to, we're going to get nervous for him and all of that. That's just something that I could tell you guys till I eventually turn purple in the face. we got to get accustomed to it, but it's never easy, right? It's never easy. So to see this match between Omega and Danielson have such excellent storytelling, and it doesn't end in a fuck finish where the Young Bucks or the Good Brothers come out and they interfere and all this other craziness that's going on. To not see any of that, this was just two guys just going at it, time limit draw, not even Don Callis causing any shenanigans, maybe talking a little bit of trash here and there, but not interfering, not to the point of even getting himself ejected and all that. You just couldn't help but say, okay, great, instant classic matchup. Post-match, Bucks, I think Good Brothers came out as well. We're going in there because, Danielson, he's got on that label lock, but the match is already over, and, he can't believe that it's over, and he is just, I know I can beat this guy. They're still scuffling. Good Brothers, Bucks, they come in there, break it apart. And I don't know who it was because I was looking down. I don't know if it was Adam Cole or if it were the Bucks, but between those guys, somebody did a cheap shot to Danielson. Next thing you know, you got Christian, you've got Luchasaurus, Jurassic Express, all those guys come out helping out their boy and Danielson there, and that was a nice little big pull apart that we had there. Phenomenal. So that was just a great 35-minute opener of Dynamite, really setting the tone, I personally felt, for a great night of in-ring wrestling action that was to come. How do you follow that up? Because that's a tough act to follow, right? So how do you follow that up? I'll tell you how you follow that up. You follow it up with CM Punk. And man, I gotta be honest here. It could be just me. I would have to ask you guys. So for those of you that's checking this out live, or you're going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads, answer this question for me, especially if you've been watching Dynamite the past couple of weeks. Is it just me, or is it coming off as if the honeymoon period for CM Punk is essentially over? And what I mean by that specifically, look at tonight. Look at when CM Punk came out there. I've just noticed this trend the past couple of weeks that I don't see fellow podcasters, especially those that I really, really respect, appreciate and all that. I really don't see them bringing this up. And I can't help but wonder, are they missing this because maybe they're doing a lot of multitasking like I am and they're not catching this, or are they just glancing? But it feels like the past couple of weeks when CM Punk has come out, you just scan the fans in attendance and they're pretty much just, okay, yeah, you're here. Cool. And you see nice little golf claps, little fist pumps, a few fist pumps here and there. But that's really it. Now, unless CM Punk is maybe looking in their direction and he's kind of throwing his hands up, come on, people. He's trying to will them in there and everything. Maybe you'll get a few more people that'll go rah, a couple of more golf claps. But it seems like the past couple of weeks, most people have been kind of, I'm not talking about the pay-per-view, because I know All Out, that was pretty much kind of like a different experience per se. But even with that solid week of AEW programming that was in Chicago, even some of those Chicago natives were kind of like, oh, yeah, the honeymoon period's over now, so what do you got for us? What are you going to say? What are you going to do here, right? It's kind of one of those things. Right down to the point. I even noticed how Jim Ross said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, and I really should have wrote this down, but he said something along the lines of, are they into this moment or not? It's kind of one of those type of deals. And it just kind of made me take a step back and go, what's going on here with CM Punk? It just really feels to me like the honeymoon period is over between when Punk arrived and just, okay, yeah, all right, you're here. Now what? I don't know if it's a case right here where folks have become now accustomed to, well, all he's going to do is just talk. He's not really going to give us anything that's salacious, that's ooh, 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 or I can't quite put my finger on it. I wish I could expand upon that thought a little bit more, but if you guys have not peeped that out before, just going forward, just watch when CM Punk comes out. Just watch when he comes out. Fans are kind of just chilling when he's coming out there. And I'm a bit concerned about that. And, I think some of the things that CM Punk had said in his promo tonight, it might actually kind of highlight some of those concerns that I just recently brought up. He said something along the lines tonight of, some fans, they don't want to see the happy-go-lucky CM Punk. They want to see the CM Punk that's just spitting it out on the microphone. They want to see the CM Punk that's just spitting nothing but mad game. They want to see the angry CM Punk. And, credit to CM Punk, he said, hey, at some point, maybe that version will return. And I like how he turns his focus to Hobbs, Team Taz and everything, building up that matchup that's going to be going down on Rampage. AEW very smart to have CM Punk wrestle for the first time on AEW TV on Rampage. I think that is a very, very smart move. I wasn't going to talk about ratings until later on in the show, but if you've been looking at the trend that's been happening with the Rampage numbers the past couple of weeks, look, it's not doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. But if you're looking at those Rampage numbers, you just can't help but go, okay, we're kind of seeing a trend here where the numbers just continue to go lower, and we gotta stop that. We seriously, we gotta stop that. Go check it out if you don't believe me. Ever since CM Punk had made his AEW Rampage debut, the numbers for Rampage, it keeps getting lower and lower and lower. Now, shout out if anybody wants to maybe go real quick, check out the numbers, and you want to post it in the chat, feel free to do that, and I'll definitely give you a nice little shout out and all of that. But when I saw the numbers, you're just kind of going, okay, look, the numbers are still pretty good. Yeah, no shit. Obviously, it's nowhere near what it was when Rampage had first began, but the numbers are still pretty good. It's not doom and gloom as opposed to what a lot of the people have been putting out there, right? I mean, when you really stop and think about it, you wouldn't know that because there's so much negativity that's going on there. Look, for Rampage to continue to be somewhere between the 650,000 to about the 680,000 K range for viewership each week, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing whatsoever. But the fact that AEW is utilizing CM Punk appropriately and pretty much, let's have him wrestle. We got Dynamite pretty much jam-packed as it is. Dynamite's going to be all right numbers-wise. We're not really concerned about that. The fact that they're just, let's try to do what we can to make Rampage be as heavy-loaded as possible. Let's put some interesting incentives in there. I think it's a smart move on their part. So I would imagine that the numbers are going to rebound for Rampage this week. We'll wait and see. But if you're asking me for my bold prediction right now, I'm going to say Rampage has a nice, serious rebound. I would, look, straight up, I would be shocked if they did another 650 to 675K. I'd be very shocked if it was in that range yet again. I would imagine this go round, especially with it being a 2-hour show, I would imagine this go round, it should be at about the 700, I would say 731,000 range, I'm thinking, for this week. So we'll wait and see how that pans out. So, CM Punk out here just pretty much hyping up his match against Powerhouse Hobbs on Friday's Rampage. I mean, that pretty much was it in a nutshell. That really is a tough act to follow, but the fact that you had CM Punk come out there next, Hey, I'm cool with that. I ain't got no problem with that whatsoever. Other action on Dynamite tonight. MJF defeating Bryan Pillman Jr. Okay matchup. Actually, okay matchup. Didn't really have too much of a problem with it whatsoever. It kind of feels to me, though, honestly, looking at this, it just kind of feels to me that this is just the beginning between MJF and Bryan Pillman Jr. And I'm okay with that. I'm hoping that's the game plan. I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of, that next phase in their rivalry, because I honestly feel that these two guys, this is another case right here where these two guys, I got some breaking news. Hold up. Hang on here. I got some breaking news here. It's actually good news. What is it? Hang on here. Wifey just texted me something, and this is wrestling / entertainment related. Nothing bad, but actually a good thing. So hang on a second here. Let me go see what's going on here. I don't see. Okay. I don't. Wow, really? Really? Wait a minute now. How does she know this, but I don't know this? Wait a minute. Oh, we're getting ready to break some news live on the air with you guys here. Let me see how I can. Okay, hang on. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. Okay. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna hold off on that news because there's one other piece of news I'm looking for. Okay, so I actually saw it. So wifey just texted me something very interesting. It's something I've been working on for a couple of weeks. And if I were to give you guys a stronger clue, you guys would easily be able to connect the dots. So I kind of got to tease you guys a little bit. But let me put it to you this way. I wish I could break the news right now, but let me put it to you this way. Phase 1 is complete. That's good to go. But now there's a second part to this that I'm waiting to see. And once I get news about that second part, I think then, especially if it's going to go my way, then I will be able to break the news. But you guys will dig it. I promise you guys. So that's awesome. Okay, that is awesome. I like that. By the way, later on during the show, we're going to do a cool unboxing and unveiling. I got a badass, somewhere in like 1980s WWF mug. I've been meaning to get to it for like almost 2 months now, but I always keep forgetting. So we're going to do that here on the show tonight. Yeah, Bryan Pillman Jr., MJF, I feel that they've got something really special that they're, I think there's something there. I think this could be one of those, as much as we had enjoyed Sean Spears, Sammy Guevara, I think it can definitely get to that level, if not even eclipse it per se. I just feel that what we got going on right here between these two guys, they are honestly just getting started. So we'll see what happens with these guys in the coming weeks. But I gotta give mad props to MJF just for his IQ, just his overall psychology when he's just going about, when he's in the ring there. Solid. Pillman, he's continuing to come along. I'm really, really glad that the powers that be in AEW are getting more and more behind Bryan Pillman. I always felt that when the Dark Side of the Ring episode was done on his father, AEW missed the boat. I'll never understand that. Why they did not just capitalize on that, I will never understand that. But what he got, Pillman Jr., what he got here tonight and working with MJF, I felt it was great exposure for him and a great learning experience as well. And you can only just build upon this. And who better to learn from than MJF, honestly. So I feel that these two can just benefit tremendously off of each other, especially if MJF is going to continue to be that main antagonist for Brian Page, and you're really trying to do a good job in building up a future homegrown talent slash babyface like Brian Pillman Jr. Who better to really play off of, take to that next level than a MJF if you're going to have that babyface work with anybody, right? So he's off on the right foot, I personally feel. So good stuff right there. Cody Rhodes taking on Malakai Black. Let's talk about that. First of all, New Yorkers, I got to give you guys mad love again. If you want to know, I've said this for years upon years upon years upon years upon years. If you want to know where the wrestling pulse is with the fans, if you want to know if something is over, what story arcs are going well, what needs to be tweaked, what you just need to stop doing completely, I've always said, do it in front of a New York crowd, Chicago crowd, Philly crowd, DC crowd, Maryland crowd. Those are like your hot spots, because those, some people kind of say, oh, it's kind of like Bizarro land when you go. No, that's just, these are the territories that has seen it all. And they pretty much can tell you what's going to work and what's not going to work. So I was paying very close attention to this one because I was most curious to see how the reception was going to be for Cody. And boy, I was not surprised whatsoever. I know some of you guys were actually surprised. I saw some of you all's reactions and you all were just kind of taken back. I was not surprised by it whatsoever. And you kind of got, not for nothing, but there was already footprints. You just had to go back and refresh your memory. You had to remember one of the last times that Malakai Black and Cody Rhodes had locked up. Fans were loving them. Malakai. They did not care for Cody. So to go in this position here where you got Cody Rhodes, and isn't this just... Remember what I've been saying the past couple of weeks now on this show, as far as, man, this is how you really should do this if you're trying to build up Cody Rhodes and get him back in favor with the fans and all that. Remember the idea I had where have Brandy Rhodes pop up, promote the little Rhodes Crossing, whatever the hell the name of their little reality show is, have her promote it, lights go out, Malakai Black pops up, she's got tears in her eyes or whatever. She is just selling that, oh my God, death is right in front of my face look. And she's just backing into a corner as Malakai Black continues to back her into that corner. And he just starts staring her down and got her in that corner. And he just starts caressing her hair and her face. And then the next thing you know, you got Cody Rhodes, who's just, God damn it, I've had enough. I've had enough of this shit. Bad enough. You took out my brother Dustin. Insult to injury, you did what you did there to my coach, my life coach, and Arn Anderson. You hurt members of my Nightmare family. I ain't taking this no more. I'm putting my foot down. Now you're putting your hands on my wife? You're putting your hands on the mother of my child? Oh, hell no. I'm whooping that ass. Why Tony Khan, Cody... Why they did not go in that direction is beyond me. I felt that the best opportunity to do something like that was last week. But no, instead, we've got Rosario Dawson. We got Rosario Dawson that's essentially playing the role of Brandy. And for me, the formula, look, I'm not saying it in a way where it's like, this is how you need to book your show. I'm not saying like that, so don't take it like that. But it's just the most easiest blueprint that's out there as far as trying to get super mad heat on somebody and trying to give fans a reason why they should actually be in the corner of their boy Cody Rhodes. And the fact that I think honestly part of the blame is how this was laid out, and the second part of it is the fact that Cody has unfortunately gotten to a point with the fans where, yeah, nah, dude, you're super baby face. Here I come to save the day. We're not really feeling it right now. No, we're not feeling it. Is it safe to say that maybe some of the fans are maybe looking at Cody Rhodes as Super Cena? Is it almost kind of safe to say they're maybe looking at him in that kind of limelight? And as a result of that, when it comes to AEW or slash wrestling fans' favorite stars in AEW right now, and in this case, Malakai Black, no. This is a bona fide awesome thing that we got going on here. Super Cody, keep your shit, whatever you got. We don't want nothing to do with it. Keep it away from Malakai Black. So what do you do right here? What do you do right here? Because Malakai Black has essentially owned Cody and all of their encounters. So what do you do right here going forward? Because it was very obvious here that Malakai Black, he is over with the fans. They are eating this shit up. And I got to remind AEW once again, please, when Malakai Black comes out, just shut the fuck up. This is like, when it comes to his entrance, just shut the fuck up. He is like literally pulling a Demon Balor / Undertaker entrance when he comes out. I don't understand what's so hard about being silent until he actually is in the ring. Just let it speak for itself. Just be quiet and just really let that moment sell. Sell that fear, sell that darkness, sell that. There's times where, okay, you know what? Let's power talk over this. And then there's other times where you just let it breathe. Just let the shit breathe. And if you are going to talk, do as little talking as possible. Like, honestly, I think the way the commentators should really kind of go with Malakai Black going forward, like when the lights go out. Oh, man. Shivani, did you feel that? Yeah, it felt like a cold chill up the spine, huh? And then just sell it. Just sell it. When you talk over it, you just, in my opinion, you just kind of negate it. You just kind of nullify it a little bit. You just kind of water it down a little bit, right? You're taking away from that aura, from that mystique and all of that, I personally feel, when it comes to that entrance, because that's one of the best entrances that's going on right now in AEW. But Malakai Black, by the way, picking up the victory there over Cody Rhodes. Somebody had asked in the chat earlier, and I'm not mocking them, but they're like, oh, did you see Arn Anderson fell? It's like, yeah, he fell. Okay. And I'm sure that AEW Botches and a couple other people, they're going to have that. And for those of you that didn't watch Dynamite tonight, unfortunately, Arn Anderson, there was a spot that he was supposed to actually do during the match that involved Cody Rhodes basically being sent into the ropes, and he inadvertently knocks into Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson sells it, falls and all of that, down apron, onto the canvas. Cody goes, checks on him. Arn Anderson, nah, the hell you doing? You know better. Stick to your opponent. I'll be all right. Leave me alone. Right? So Arn did all of that. That was all planned. But there was a spot before that where Arn was just gingerly trying to make his way around, and he fell. And, me personally, I don't think that's funny. And anybody that wants to, did you see Arn fall? It's like, first of all, I'm not being a Debbie Downer, but there's nothing fun about that whatsoever, especially with a person that is as old as Arn Anderson is. And as we've talked about on this show many times over the years, falling ain't no joke. Falling happens to people of all ages. I had one of my first falls when, as an adult, I've told this story many times, but I can give you the bullet points real quick. I remember I was 30, I think I was 36, 37. And I was just kicking back, doing some laundry. So this was a couple of years ago. I was doing some laundry. I was getting it ready, put it in the basket. I'm here in my home. And in my home, I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got about 17 stairs that I have to go down just to reach the middle level of my home. And once I'm on the middle level, it's pretty much my living room, my kitchen, my dining room area, front door and all that. But if I want to do my laundry from that middle level, then I got to go down to the basement and there's more stairs. So those stairs, I've got to walk down about 12 stairs and boom, I'm in my basement, right? So coming up from my top level, hitting those 17 stairs, I actually tripped. I don't know what happened, but honestly, in retrospect, it kind of felt like my leg just gave out. And the next thing I know, with the basket in hand, I went tumbling down the fucking stairs. I let out a scream. It was kind of one of those, but much louder. And my dog and my wife came running, trying to find out what the hell was going on. They see me at the bottom of the stairs. My leg was bent in this weird fucking, it was bad. And long story short, I was on crutches and a cane for about maybe 2 to 3 months almost. I had another fall accident about a year after that. I had got some donuts for coworkers, and there were some donuts left over by the end of my shift. So I take that. I've got at that point, I would carry a laptop case sometimes because I would have my laptop. I bring my laptop with me to work and all that. So I'm going down these concrete stairs trying to catch the metro rail. I don't know what happened. I slipped. Boom, So, it happens to people of all ages is my point. And let's not forget, in regards to Arn Anderson, his left arm is weak. His left arm is weak from, he's got some neurological problems that's going on there. So, if you kind of play that back and, not for nothing, but I remember watching him gingerly in real time. And I just said, I hope he's going to be able to make it around that corner because he kind of looked like he's struggling there. And I'm already thinking about that weak arm of his. I'm thinking to myself, don't fall. And sure enough, the camera kind of catches, just a little, not all of it, but enough to know he fell. It's like, there's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny about that. And to those of you that think that's funny and all of that, and you still got parents in your life, just kind of remember some of the shit that I had said. Not for nothing, we also lost a lot of greats to incidents that happened at their home. Dusty Rhodes being one of those. So when it comes to people falling, especially when they're up there in age, I don't fucking know. And having fell myself, that shit ain't funny, especially when you end up, cane and crutches, and there ain't nothing funny about that. So what do you do with this Malakai Black, Cody Rhodes situation going forward? I'll tell you what you do going forward. It's quite simple. Keep the motherfuckers apart. Have Cody face somebody else. Have him face somebody else. Keep him as far away because it's obvious the fans, they love them. Some Malakai Black. He can do no wrong right now as far as the fans are concerned. Just everything about him is screaming money, 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 money. He is overly popular.
look, I'm gonna say something here that may be a little bit controversial. I'm gonna say something here that may not be popular. I'm gonna say something that may piss some fans off. But when you really take a step back and you really, really think about this, you'll agree with what I'm saying, which is this point. In my opinion, and I'm up for debate. Malakai Black, when you look at big guys that's been in AEW so far, continue to be in AEW so far, Malakai Black is more over than all of the big guys we have seen. Dare I say, even more popular than Brody Lee when Brody Lee was alive. Let's be honest. That's great that everybody with the tributes, and yes, nobody's passing affected the wrestling community. Truly a shocker like Brody Lee. I remember being here on this show and we did our tribute to Brody Lee. Encourage you guys to go check out that t-shirt that was being given away there. What was it? Collar and elbow. They had the special Brody Lee shirts that were made up. I had got one. I encourage a lot of you guys to go get them and all that, right? We remember how that particular period was when Brody had passed, but let's be honest, and we really got to be honest here. Before Brody passed, most people, yeah, he's okay, but this Dark Order shit, yeah, Brody's alright. Remember that? It was only after he passed did the legacy pretty much expand. It was only after he passed did he go to these new heights and everything. But if you're just really just before he passed, and you just really kind of stop and just factor him in and factor in all of the other big guys that's been in AEW up to this point, Malakai Black has pretty much just crushed all of those guys. He has. So AEW is they're in a unique position right here. Now some of you may ask the question, well, do you turn Malakai Black? No, you don't turn Malakai Black. You keep letting him do his thing. I think, honestly, if you're going to have a babyface ultimately dethrone Malakai Black, give him that first defeat in AEW, it's not at the hands of Cody Rhodes. You give that to somebody else. You look, it ain't going to be Brian Pillman Jr. You remember what I was talking about earlier as far as building up. Look, it ain't going to be Brian Pillman Jr. If you maybe want to bring up, shit, I just had his name and I lost it that quick. If you maybe want to bring up Hangman Adam Page, okay, I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. A lot of people like Hangman Adam. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm just thinking about other, I wouldn't even have a problem with Brian Pillman Jr. if it's under the right circumstances. And again, it's a case where, okay, well, some of those milestone victories that he's gotten so far, right? Who all has he defeated so far to get to that point where, okay, let's put him in a program with Malakai Black. I think it would kind of have to be one of those type of deals. But just kind of looking at the current roster, I'm just thinking about young, up-and-coming guys and all of that. I'd be okay with Darby Allin getting a victory over Black, right? That would definitely be a very, very interesting matchup, for sure. Definitely a very interesting matchup. I've got to actually look at the roster, but just off the break, just thinking about just the people I've seen on a weekly basis, those are just some of the names that's jumping out to me right now. If you want to throw a name out there at me as a suggestion while I'm live, go ahead and I'll let you know if that maybe is a good name or not. But those are the names off the break I'm looking at where I'm kind of going, okay, kind of paying it forward and we're kind of really building upon it and all that. Okay, I can see these names. Now, obviously, if you're not going to go with, someone that's kind of like a young up-and-comer and you're going to go with just pretty much, the usual suspects, that's where it's like, wow, okay, so who really could defeat Malakai Black? And it's like, right, okay, CM Punk, you want to talk Danielson, like you want to talk Christian, like what direction are you going here, right? I mean, it's wide open, but if you're narrowing it down and you're trying to be very, very specific, that's where things kind of, okay, very limited is the point that I'm making. Very, very limited. But that was pretty good. It was pretty good what Malakai Black and Cody did. But yeah, you gotta keep them apart. You just gotta keep them apart. Let Cody go do something else. Have him feud with somebody else. Yeah. They are not feeling Cody anymore. They are just not having it. It's not working. It's not working. Just keep him away from Malakai Black. Keep him away. I think at one point they had that opportunity, but they just missed it. They missed it. And once you miss that boat, that's pretty much it. If you're going to continue to insist on Malakai Black and Cody, what can you do as far as a redeeming quality? What can you do to maybe, if I were to make a suggestion to AEW, and you're hell-bent on staying the Malakai Black, Cody Rhodes path, what I would suggest is talk with Tony Schiavone, talk with Jim Ross, and see how comfortable they would feel about doing a spot with Malakai Black. In storyline, we know how much the Rhodes family has meant to Schiavone and to JR. Very instrumental, in the Rhodes careers and all of that. So, you know that Cody looks at those guys as older big brothers, father figures to a certain degree. I don't know if JR, from a physical standpoint, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if he can take a little bump like he used to, but Schiavone, I know Schiavone can, but I think it's going to take something like that where Malakai Black is doing something to a well-renowned and beloved figure amongst the wrestling fans that will get him in that position where he gets that white heat, and you could essentially, okay, now we got it back on Cody, and you can kind of build from there. I think at this point, if you're going to continue to go the Rhodes Black route, that's it. Otherwise, pull them apart, go on, do something else different. Let's see what else we got. We ain't got that many more matches left, y'all. I think at this point we only got maybe 1 or 2 matches left here. Let me look here. Sting, Darby Allin taking on FTR. Nice tag matchup. That was actually a nice tag matchup. Darby Allin, though, man, he does these spots where I'm just like, dude, you don't have to do that. Please stop. Please, you're going to be like Dynamite Kid soon if you keep doing this shit. Of course, I'm talking about the coffin drop that he did from the top turnbuckle. And he did this. It was crazy because in the closing moments of this matchup, Sting had grabbed onto the legs of Dax Harwood, and he was applying the Scorpion Deathlock. And as this was going on, Darby Allin, he pretty much did the coffin drop to the top, and he pretty much took out Cash that way, because Cash was kind of like outside the ring, and he was trying to do his best to try and disrupt that whole thing from Sting, what Sting was doing and all that. And Darby just did that coffin drop, just splat right onto dude's back on the outside. And I just couldn't help but look at that spot and go, Jesus. And also, well, okay, was that really needed? Just, that was just, but what was so fucking hilarious was afterwards, where Sting picks up the victory and he's just looking on at freaking Darby Allin like, it's good. I mean, that's literally how he's looking at him, like, it's good. You know, not trying to help him up, none of that shit, because it's obvious Darby is fucking hurt and Sting's just looking at him. I love that. That was just hilarious. Sting, from a physical standpoint, he didn't look that all bad. Honestly, he did not. This match really made me come away and appreciate FTR even more. I got to give them their fucking props as a tag team, and I definitely got to exceptionally give them mad props for going above and beyond and really help protect Sting here. I mean, they really made Sting look pretty damn good. They really, really did. I don't really feel as though Sting and Darby Allin, you can kind of bring it to question, but I really feel that Sting and Darby Allin didn't need the win here. I kind of feel as though FTR would have been better with this, just to continue to build upon what they did last week, adding that insult to injury, taking off their face paints and all that off of Sting and Darby. They did. I would have continued to build upon it, but you know what? For all intents and purposes, you know what? It was still a good tag match. Good tag match overall. Main event match. So only 5 matches tonight for Dynamite. Main event match of the night, AEW Women's Championship, Britt Baker taking on Ruby Soho. Ruby, so close, yet so far away. Yo, for me, the real MVP, Reba, not Rebel. God damn, that girl looked good, man. Nice and thick, nice and, god damn. Woo, that's all I gotta say, yo. Oh man, that girl exceptionally looked marvelous tonight. I gotta admit, yo. Great match between Baker and Soho. Appreciate the effort from both of them. And much like with the opener and just everything involved in the opener, you're going into this main event match and it had that same kind of aura, almost that same kind of magic about it with this match. Almost couple of hiccups in this matchup here and there. Right woman definitely went over, I personally feel. Great main event. Now, going forward, what I really need for AEW to try to focus on and all of that. And look, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think when it comes to this whole talk of win-loss records and all of that, we're going to be done with this, I personally feel, with in regards to these win-loss records. Because you can't do a win-loss record and then do these AEW rankings each week. But then when you have somebody brand new that comes into the company like a Ruby Soho, you know, who pretty much gets like 1 or 2 wins or some shit, or better yet, doesn't even get a win yet, and she's pretty much catapulted to the #1 contendership status. We got to stop that. We got to stop that. Otherwise, that just defeats the whole purpose of your AEW rankings, your win-loss records and all of that, because then it brings into question, well, what's the point of all of this if a person can just hop shot? Because let's just say further down the road, and not for nothing, but as great of a match as it was between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega, hey, I'm glad that was a non-title matchup, but you know AEW is gonna, we got to make this match happen for the AEW championship. So again, so much for that win-loss record, so much for the AEW rankings. Now, we hear the rumblings that Bray Wyatt is supposed to be coming to AEW. Think about that for a second. So whenever he pops up, are we going to have him hot shot? The hell with the rankings. The hell with the win-loss record. Are we going to have him hot shot to a championship match opportunity? So this is where we kind of have to tread very, very lightly here. And we really, really got to be careful. If you're AEW, you definitely got to be careful with this because, yeah. So, but I like the fact that we went in this direction because now we've built up Ruby Soho to a point. And look, not for nothing, but at least you can say, well, look, there was definitely mad interference going on here in this matchup by Jamie Hayter, Reba Not Rebel. So maybe somewhere down the road, Soho, Baker, they go at it again. But at least you've done a phenomenal job in building up Soho as a legit threat to Baker and her championship. Flip side to that, you've also continued to be in a good position right here where, much like with Malakai Black, the fans want to cheer Britt Baker. Britt Baker can do no wrong. She can do no wrong. It's another case right here where do you maybe need to have her, much like with Malakai Black? Do you have to maybe have her attack somewhat of a sympathetic figure, and maybe that's going to come at the hands of Shivani? So Shivani, once again, it's kind of like, right? Show tough love to Shivani, and could you maybe get the fans really hating her guts that way? Or, she can do no wrong. It's kind of one of those, what the hell, right? So AEW's in a very unique position right here with their guys that they consider to be their top heels, because even Miro, the fans really love Miro. I mean, just really stop and think about that. It's a nice problem to have. Quite honestly, it's a nice problem to have. But at the same time, when you're thinking about, okay, who are we going to build up as our baby faces? Yeah. Great AEW Dynamite tonight, though. Fantastic AEW Dynamite. Damn good episode. Can't wait to see what they're going to be doing for Friday's AEW Rampage. Now, I'm seeing something here on Twitter. What's going on here? Okay, this is NWA related, so I'm not even gonna get into that tonight. I gotta actually check that out. I did poll you guys on Twitter, wanted to know what you guys had thought about Dynamite, so let me see what's going on here so far. Okay, it's still early, but I'm seeing 85.7% of you gave it a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 14.3% of you are giving it a thumbs down. So I would agree with that. I would agree with that. 85% or more saying thumbs. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Hey, before we go any further into the show, I do see the matches for this week's AEW Dark. We went over the match card for Elevation on Monday, but here's the matches for this week's AEW Dark. Again, for Tuesday. Joey Janela faced Dylan McQueen. Daniel Garcia took on Allin 5 Angels. Meanwhile, JD Drake faced Colt Cabana. JDX took on Wardlow. Marcus Cross went one-on-one with Lance Archer. Marina Tucker took on Tay Conti. Ryan Nemeth and Pretty Peter Avalon faced the Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Meanwhile, Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson faced Luke Curtis and Cameron Stewart. Stallion Rogers saw action against Anthony Green. Stallion Rogers and Anthony Green saw action against FTR. Bear Bronson faced Eddie Kingston. Ali Catch took on Big Swall. Xena, or is it Tina? I think I said it right. Xena K faced the Bunny. Darian Benston, Cole Carter, and Sham Lauda faced the Factory, and Santana and Ortiz took on Luther and Serpentico. So those were your matches for AEW Dark for this week. So check that out. By the way, non-wrestling related, but I definitely want to give this man his respected flowers. And those of you that sadly have not done your research on this man and his work, you really owe it to yourself this weekend, especially if you are into all things cinema and pulp culture, entertainment related. You really owe it to yourselves to brush up on his work. I'll probably talk a lot more about him on a special 30 with Lee for our Patreon members, but rest in peace to Melvin Van Peebles, the son of Mario Van Peebles. A very, many look at Melvin Van Peebles as the godfather of blaxploitation films. And I definitely would agree with that. I definitely would agree with those sentiments. I mean, a groundbreaking playwright, musician, movie director. He really, really was so integral in the late 1960s going into the early 70s in bringing that new wave of blaxploitation, that blaxploitation era for the film genre. He really was one of those pioneers. And he passed this week at his home in Manhattan, New York at the age of 89. So a nice, long, fruitful life. Passed away at his home. Hey, what better way to go out, right, than at your own home and all that. But a lot of films, novels, music, plays, you name it. 2 movies that I want for you guys to check out. One, Watermelon Man. Check that out. The other one that I want you to check out is another one that's honestly, it's truly a classic, and it's one of those you got to see it before you die. It's kind of one of those type of films. Sweetback's Badass Song. That's from 1971. You got to see that. And when you just look at the way that movie was executed, but then particular when you look at how the scoring went about for that film, I mean, he was truly a pioneer, a visionary decades before, his time, because what he did with the soundtrack, and it was so simple, what he did for the soundtrack, he basically came up with his own music for it and everything. And he talked about how most people up to that point, the way that they went about adding music to the movies, they would normally do it after the fact. After the fact is when they would do it. But the way he went about it, he actually, no, I'm in the moment. This is the vibe that is going on. Not to mention, he was working with such a limited budget. He really didn't have that much money to spare as far as bringing in musicians to do XYZ. So he did a lot of the music himself. And as low budget and all that as it was, just every single film that came about. So for those of you that were big fans of Shaft, or take your pick of any Pam Grier movie that came out back in those days, right? Coffee, or what's the other one? Friday Foster, take your pick, right? But all of those movies that had came out during that period, when you just look at the score, Fred Williamson, Black Caesar, right? When you just look at all of those joints and just think about the musical scores, just everything, the layout, the whole concept, all of them were taking their cues from what Melvin Van Peebles had did. I know we lost a lot of viewers just now by bringing up that name, but guess what? This is how we operate on this show. We don't just say covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond for nothing. We really do go all over the place. There's more things that's kind of important in life than wrestling. But definitely, check those 2 films out when you get a chance. And it's interesting because before he passed, I think next week, next week, the New York Film Festival, they were set to, and they're still set, but they were going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of his badass, Sweetback's badass song. They were going to celebrate that film. And there's also supposed to be a box set collection of essential films from him that's supposed to be released pretty soon. There's also supposed to be a revival of one of his plays. Ain't supposed to die a natural cause or something like. Ain't supposed to die a natural death. I think that's the name of it. That's supposed to be seeing a reboot. So, but check those two out. You'll thank me later. You'll definitely thank me later. Let's get back to wrestling. Oh, you know what? Actually, before we get back into wrestling, there was another passing that had went down this week as well. For those of you that are fans of Burn Notice, there was a actor that had died this week. He was a comedian. He was a comedian, but, he mainly was known for, numerous TV roles that he did. Numerous fucking TV roles that he did. And I definitely want to show him some love. I'm trying to think of his name right now, and sadly, his name is escaped. Give me a second. I definitely wanted to show him some love because he had passed away as well. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull him up because right now, I got him. Sex and the City actor, Willie Garson, he had passed away. Man, what did that guy not do? I mean, seriously, you might not recognize the name, but as soon as you see his face, you're definitely going to recognize. I mean, I could describe him all I want, but if you guys don't know the name, the face isn't going to come to you. But if you ever had watched Sex in the City, what else did he do? He did the sequels as well for Sex in the City. But he had passed as well. Cause of death not known. He had recurring roles on NYPD Blue. What other shows come to mind? Supergirl was more recent. Hawaii Five-0, the new reboot. He had his mark as far as TV goes. His mark was there. He was just one of those type of actors when it came to TV roles. I wouldn't be surprised if 9 times out of 10, because I don't even know about his IMDb resume and all that, but if you were to tell me he had appeared on quite a few episodes of Law and Order over the years and all of their spinoffs, wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. But he's another one that had passed away. I think he was only like 57 when he passed away. So yeah, kind of young. All right, so check this out. Big event. They're going to be doing their thing coming up in November. And man, the names that they have announced so far, if y'all have not gotten on top of this yet, y'all need to get on top of this. It's going to be going down November 13th and the 14th in New York, the big event. Get more information by heading over to bigeventny.com. That's bigeventny.com. I don't even think they're done yet, but I want to read to you some of the names that they got showing up for this joint so far. And this is going to be going down at the LaGuardia Plaza Marriott in East Elmhurst, New York. Again, on November 13th and the 14th. They got Christy Hemme, AJ Mendez, a.k.a. AJ Lee, Ric Flair. I hope that holds up, because as we saw in regards to, the New York Comic Con, we talked about it on Monday night, they pretty much had pulled Ric Flair from that. So we're seeing all this fallout that's going on. And, once again, we got Ric Flair putting out the little statements, trying to do damage control. He really should have listened to his lawyer, his wife, his publicist, and just shut the fuck up, not say anything. And if you are going to put out a statement, make sure it is a collaborative effort and no stone has been left unturned. just anyway, JBL's going to be there. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Eric Bischoff, the Inspiration. If you guys don't know who the Inspiration is, that is basically, I believe that's Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. Sure as hell looks like them. If I'm wrong, you guys let me know. Kenny Omega, Big Show Paul White, Tommy End, Jade Cargill's going to be there. Matt Hughes, Holly Holm. Ooh, Holly Holm. I love me some Holly Holm. Maisha Tate, Michelle Watterson, Tatiana Cerez, Dan Hewson, Killer Kelly, Viva Van, Brandy Lauren, Tenille Dashwood, Emma, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Bully Ray. Matt Hardy is only going to be there Sunday only. Again, Sunday only. Masha Slamovich, Kylie Ray, Mercedes Martinez. Shout out to Mercedes Martinez, by the way. She is going to be making her return to the Shimmer promotion, I believe, in October. Late October, she's going to be returning. So for you Mercedes Martinez fans, you may want to check that out. Also, got some celebrities, non-wrestling related celebrities that's going to be there. Wade Boggs, Keith Hernandez, Reggie Jackson, Eddie Kingston's going to be there Sunday only. The Berserker, Stacy Carter, Camille, Stan Hansen, Scott Norton, Mil Muertes, Chelsea Green, Diamond Dallas Page, Bobby Fish, Ivelisse Velez, Brian Lee, Kelly Kelly / Barbie Blank, Eric Redbeard, Mojo Rawley, Billy Gunn, Sunday only, Juventud Guerrera, Shannon Moore, Ron Simmons. We're almost done, but if these names didn't, like, I don't know what names are gonna. Hey, if you ain't got the money, I get it, but like if you know somebody that's gonna be in the New York area, hip them to this. Brian Myers, Jasmine Allure, Deborah Mitchell, PG-13, Misty Blue Simmons, Fandango, Mike Bibby, Lady Frost, Arissa Kelly, May Valentine. Oh, May Valentine's going to be there. Marissa Jade. Thunder Rosa's going to be there. Sunday only for you Thunder Rosa fans. Willow Nightingale. And Janine Bazzoni / Hollywood is going to be there. So that's the whole list right now. So that's damn impressive. So, and I mean, you can't beat the prices too. So you want more information, go check it out. BigEventNY.com. That's BigEventNY.com. You know, we always show them love the past couple of years on the show. So I know for a fact the event that they're going to be doing, I would imagine as far as social distancing, and it's going to be as safe and smart as humanly possible. I've seen how some of these wrestling autograph events have come about, photo ops and all of that. And from what I've seen, it's pretty damn safe. Of course, everything depends on that respective celebrity that you're seeing as far as their comfort level. You know, I'm sure that, you know, if you were to tell them, hey, no, I got fully vaccinated, here's my card, then, you know, maybe to each its own as far as, okay, the hell with the plexiglass and all of that. Come here, let's embrace, let's get in a really nice, good picture and all of that. So if you were to ask me if I would do some stuff like that, I don't know about the photo ops. The photo ops, I'm not, you know, I don't think so. I don't think so with the photo ops. Autographs, though, yeah. And I tell you what, I don't know. I might actually try to see if I can do this, because honestly, I've got the big gold belt. And if you're asking me straight up what names I'm looking at as far as signing the big gold belt, I'm eyeballing JBL. I appreciate Ric Flair's contributions to the wrestling business. You know, I don't know. I don't know. The fan in me is screaming, get the autograph, right? It's kind of one of those it's kind of one of those get the autographs. Like if you were to ask me if I believed he was trying to rape or sexually assault the flight attendant, I don't believe he was, but he still should have known better, especially in regards to people that you don't even know and you haven't even built a rapport with them, and you don't know how they may look at some of the things you say and physically do. It's kind of like, nah, man, come on now. I don't know. Ric Flair autograph, that's a toss-up. That's, and if I'm already hesitating, that's kind of one of those, now, not for nothing, but let's be consistent. If you were to say to me, Lee, let's say that this Dark Side of the Ring episode didn't happen and, all this shit didn't resurface, would you still want a Ric Flair autograph? Would you want a photo op? I'm still kind of, appreciate his contributions to the business, but it's kind of like, I don't know, homie. JBL, though, oh, hell yeah. Give me JBL. Kevin Nash, yeah, for sure. I'm just looking at the rest of these guys. Paul White, definitely. Paul White, I would definitely get him to sign. So I'm just looking at the rest of these names here. That's it, right? Yeah, I think that's it as far as who could actually. Well, you got to get Diamond Dallas Page to sign it too, right? Yeah, you got to get Diamond Dallas Page to sign it. And I think that's, oh, no, you got to get Ron Simmons. No, you got to get Ron Simmons to sign that. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I might actually go to this event. I'll let you guys know as it gets a little closer, but I no bullshit, I actually might go to this event since it's in New York. Yeah, I actually might go. I'm going to talk to the wifey and see if maybe we might be able to make a little something happen. I'll keep you guys posted on that. So NXT 2.0 for this week, not that strong of an episode. I got to admit to you guys, it wasn't as strong as what they did last week. Look, I'm not going to do a full-blown review, but just to give you guys just my overall thoughts about NXT for this week. Look, I continue to be impressed by Braun Breaker. He reminds me so much of his dad. It's not even funny. Seriously, it's not even funny. So, even sounds like his damn dad. So, I love it. I'm loving him. And as far as a future breakout star goes, yeah, I'm eyeballing him. I see a lot of potential. I peeped him out when he was in action on this week's NXT, and he looked pretty good. He looked pretty promising as far as I was concerned. I'm still not feeling Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, safe to say that this guy's got some type of mob connections or whatever. I mean, every time I'm seeing this guy, I don't know how many of you all remember Mad TV, but just seeing him, I don't know why, but he reminds me of the Olive Garden commercial. I don't know why. If you've never looked up the Mad TV skit on Olive Garden, go look it up. And I don't know why, but it's just, I'm not feeling this. Of all the characters, he does nothing for me right now. And look, I'm not being a Debbie Downer here. I love the FBI back in the day. The full-blooded Italians. I love those guys back in the day. Nunzio was my fucking shit. I love fucking Nunzio. This does not give me any of those vibes whatsoever. It just comes off like a poor man's wannabe version of, right? That's just how it comes. I'm not impressed. This is the one joint where I'm just kind of like, yeah, this already feels like a flat line before it even came out of the box. Yeah, it feels like they're trying to go for their wannabe Tony Soprano wrestler in the WWE or whatever. So Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen. Now, I will say this about NXT for this week. Remember the constructive feedback I had mentioned on last week's show where I said something along the lines of, look, all these new faces that we got popping up, and sadly a lot of us have never seen these guys before, and we don't unfortunately watch the other shows that WWE puts out there each week. We got to get a nice proper introduction, nice proper setup for these guys to really help us understand them a little bit more. Let's try to flesh out their characters more here. Got to give WWE props for the nice little video package they put together for Briggs and Jensen, which was, I like how they are borrowing elements from Bradshaw and Farouk, APA. They like to drink, have a good time. And so let me see if I got this right. One guy just bumped into the other guy. They got into a big-ass brawl. Dude essentially got hit so hard, I guess he got his ass whooped too, but he pretty much was like, if there was anybody I had to get hit by and get my ass whooped by, hey, I'm glad it was this guy because we bonded as a result. Yeah, okay, like, that's never happened to me when it comes to fights, but whatever. I've had my share of whooping a motherfucker's ass, and I've had my share of getting my ass whooped, and I don't recall at the end, you beat my ass so good, man. Hey, you want to be friends? I don't know about that. Just thinking about some of the other stuff that happened. Dante Chen, I'm still out on him. My verdict is still out on him. I got to see a little bit more. I got to see a little bit more of Dante Chen. Yeah. I'm just kind of going over the rest of the notes here. The main event match, Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa taking on Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland. That was actually a pretty good main event match. Breaker in particular, he knows his wrestling. Wrestles just like a Steiner. I mean, and I don't say that as an insult. I mean, just everything just screams Steiner. Smells like a Steiner. Talks like a Steiner. Moves like a Steiner. Smells like a Steiner. He is a goddamn Steiner. And the fact that we're calling him Braun Breaker is just... But as I told you guys last week, the hell with the name. You could just call him Tinfoil Man. It's just all about going out there and making the shit work. He's going out there and he's doing it. He's got a bright future ahead of him. But I want to bring up this point. Which is this. Do you think we'll ever see a day, or are we already in the process per se, of seeing old wounds be patched up between WWE and Scott Steiner, to the point that maybe one day we will see Scott Steiner maybe get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? You just can't help but bring that question up, because it seemed like for the longest time, WWE did not want to have anything to do with anything Steiner related. They wanted to be as far away from it as humanly possible. And let's be honest, Scott Steiner had said some unflattering things about certain people in WWE and of the promotion in recent years. So, what I'm saying? Like, you would imagine that now that his son is there, Steiner is essentially going to be on his P's and Q's, still being very outspoken, but more constructive as far as his feedback about the WWE and all that. But you just can't help but wonder if this nice olive branch that was given there to the young man, is essentially that olive branch that will spawn other branches and ultimately welcoming Scott Steiner back into the fold there. Just kind of have that going in the back of your head there. But this show, there was a decent amount of good stuff that was in this. It wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't as awesome of a show as it was last week. And right down to the point, I gotta be honest, I found myself fast forwarding a lot of this episode. I did. Whereas the debut, I was there, hook, line, sinker. I'm checking out every single thing that's coming about. I'm hooked. I'm there. I'm glued in. But this one just felt so... And I purposely took a nap. Before this show even came on. And this show, as I was watching it, because I had an opportunity to watch it on Tuesday after I got in from work, and I didn't watch it. I took a nap way before AEW Dynamite came on tonight so I could watch this show and then pretty much go right into Dynamite. And I felt myself being so tired watching this NXT show that I had to remind myself, well, wait a minute, you can fast forward here, and that's ultimately what I did. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that they crammed in this, as far as all of these. They got to do a better job in flushing out all these characters. They really, really do. And I think they need to spend the next couple of weeks just, okay, Team A, this is who we're going to introduce. Let's put some little packages in here. Let's set these guys up properly and then switch them out. Kind of go about it that way. Kind of like a rinse, repeat type of deal and all of that. Also, we got to have the commentators do more of a better job in helping bridge the gap here and giving us better connections to these talents as well. Nice amount of energy, but not really that much went down during this episode. Honestly, this was pretty much a skippable episode, but they got some growing pains that's ahead of them, without a shadow of doubt. They got some growing pains that's ahead of them, right down to the point. Ratings are out for this week. Look, it's not all doom and gloom, but the ratings for this week, they did about 746,000. Not bad. Slightly down from last week's episode, which was 770,000 viewers. So, I mean, that's pretty good. We'll see if they can continue to keep that trend going. It's got that new car smell. We'll see how this continues to go over the course of the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. Other than that, I think that's it. I don't think there's really anything else we need to get into. Unless you guys got some wrestling related questions, I think at this point we can go on ahead and we could stick a fork in it and call this show DONE done. I'll give you guys some quick programming notes though. One, I got an update. My phone is telling me there's an update. I was going to get into Extreme Rules predictions. I know we kind of talked about that on the Monday show, that we'd get into it on today's show. I'm going to skip that. I think instead what we'll do this Saturday, I work until 7 p.m. I've got no problem doing a show for you guys Saturday night, and we can talk about SmackDown. We can talk about Extreme Rules. So look for a poll. I'll do another poll. I'll put it out sometime Thursday afternoon. Let me know what time works best for you. Because if I am going to do this, and I am, I'm thinking we either do a 8 p.m. show, 9 p.m. show, or 10 p.m. show. So we'll do that, and we'll pretty much go from there. So you guys will pretty much dictate, what time works best for you that you'll be around Saturday night. And we'll pretty much go from there. And then Sunday, of course, Extreme Rules. We will have a post show that'll be live. So you guys will be able to tune in, check that out. That should be a fun, loaded up episode. And what else? Let me look at speaking of polling, let me see what you guys have said so far about the AEW joint. All right. So, I mean, look, it's still early. But again, in case you guys are just now tuning in, I had put a poll up on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab, and I asked you guys, would you be interested in a physical card version of AEW CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and Owen Hart as a giveaway? This is a follow-up to a poll I did a few weeks ago where most folks didn't know what e-cards were. I messed that up, by the way. Were should be WERE, but I'm glad you guys knew exactly what I was trying to say. To save on confusion, physical versions of these stars will be made available in a few weeks. Sound off. So I see so far 100% of you guys are saying yes, you would love a physical card. Continue to sound off. I made the voting options be very simple. Yes, I would love a physical card. No, I don't like free stuff. Wait, why am I here? Yeah, if you vote for that, you seriously got some mental problems and you need to stop checking out my show. No, only because I'm not big on trading cards. So your three options, it's as plain and simple as it gets. By the way, shout out to those of you that had cast your votes about a day ago in regards to the shows going forward. I mentioned that I'm toying with the idea of doing two shows regularly on Tuesday, one for NXT, the other for NWA Power. And I also said, that's just one idea, but so far I'm seeing 67% of you guys are saying no, do one show on Tuesdays combining the two, whereas 22% of you are saying yes, do two shows on Tuesdays. I feel that my mind is already made up. I'll tell you guys right now, but I'm still gonna sleep on it for a couple of more days. First of all, appreciate everybody that had cast their vote. Where my head is at right now is maybe just continue to do Tuesdays NWA. And the reason being is because I'll be perfectly honest. When it comes to, let's say hypothetically speaking, we were to operate the way the majority of the audience is voting right now, which is just combine the two. Here's the problem with that. There are sadly a lot of people, majority being our subscribers and listeners, that don't check out NWA. And as a result of not checking out NWA, by the time we get done talking about NXT, maybe some other stuff, sadly, when we get ready to talk NWA, those people that don't watch NWA, they're not going to give a fuck about NWA talk, and they're going to roll out. Whereas the way it's currently standing right now, those that are interested in just pure NWA talk, they can come, they can check it out. They're pretty much in and out. So it's very feasible and very accessible for those guys that love the talk of just pure NWA. So I got to sleep on it, but I think what I'm going to be doing going forward is just keeping it as it is. Mondays, you know how we do it on the Monday show. Tuesdays, strictly NWA. Wednesdays, we just talked NXT. Big bulk, AEW. I think we may continue to operate and do it just like that. I was talking with Wifey about it, and even Wifey had said to me, that defeats the whole purpose. If you were to combine both into one show, and now your NWA is lost in the shuffle, is crammed into, another show, that defeats the whole purpose. Because there are people that actually have gone out of their way to let me know they appreciate the NWA talk. They love the NWA reviews and all that. So, by the way, shout out to this one new fan in particular, John Farmer. Shout out to him. He definitely loves the NWA shows and all that. So, I'll keep you guys posted, but I think that's the direction we're going to be going in. All right, so on that note, that's it. We got about 1 hour, 58 minutes of a show. DONE done. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Don't forget, this Friday, make sure your DVRs are set. AEW Rampage is going to be a 2-hour show. Those of you that are not going to be able to watch Rampage for whatever respected reason, remember, I'm on 411mania.com as a columnist, and every Friday I'm doing AEW live ongoing coverage and providing reviews afterwards. So bookmark that website and check it out this Friday. And definitely on Saturday's RCWR show, I will talk about Rampage Night 2, talk about SmackDown, get into the Extreme Rules predictions and all that good jazz, okay? And in the meantime, that's going to do it. I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. For those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads, appreciate the love and support. As always, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. You do that, you help put more eyeballs on the product. Hit that subscribe button as well, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on new content that comes your way multiple times on a weekly basis. Be safe and be kind to one another. I'll check you all out next go round. Y'all